You walk away from the conversation, and it starts almost immediately. The replay, that thing you said that came out wrong, the joke that did not land, the moment you talked too much or not enough. And underneath it all, the quiet conclusion you have already reached without noticing. They probably did not like me very much. Here's what makes that so strange. Human beings are famously, almost comically, overconfident about themselves. Ask a room full of people if they are above average drivers, and most of the hands go up. We think we work harder than others, that we are less to blame for our failures, that our relationships are better than most. Psychology has documented this over and over. We flatter ourselves relentlessly, except in one place. There is a single, specific corner of human self-perception where the entire pattern flips, where we are not generous with ourselves at all, but brutally, systematically wrong in the opposite direction. And you just lived inside it. In 2018, a team of researchers led by Erica Boothby, working with colleagues at Yale, Harvard, and the University of Essex, ran 5 separate studies on a simple question. After you talk to someone new, how accurate are you about what they thought of you? They started small. They paired up strangers and had them talk for a few minutes. Then they asked each person 2 things. How much did you like your partner? And how much do you think your partner liked you? The results were not subtle. Person A walked away thinking, I like them more than they like me. And person B, sitting in the other room, walked away thinking exactly the same thing. I like them more than they liked me. Sit with that, because it cannot be true. They cannot both be right. Both people are certain they were the more enthusiastic one in the same conversation, which means at least one of them is wrong, and in fact both of them are. Both people were liked more than they realized. Every single time. The researchers called it the liking gap, and they found it everywhere they looked. They found it in 5-minute conversations between strangers. They found it in longer conversations. They found it among ordinary members of the public getting to know each other at workshops. And then they did something clever. They followed first-year university students who had just been assigned to live with a roommate they had never met, and they tracked them across the entire academic year. The gap did not close after a week. It did not close after a month. It persisted for most of the year. 2 people living in the same room, seeing each other every single day, and each one quietly underestimating how much the other one liked them for months. So the question becomes, how? How can you be that wrong about something happening right in front of your face? The answer is that during the conversation, you are not actually watching the conversation. You are watching yourself. While the other person was talking, part of your attention was running a private commentary. Was that the right thing to say? Why did I bring that up? I'm talking too much. And that inner voice, the researchers found, is remarkably self-critical. It is not neutral. It scrutinizes your every pause and rates your performance harshly. And here is the crucial consequence. All of that attention has to come from somewhere. Every unit of focus you spend evaluating yourself is a unit you are not spending reading them. So you miss the signals, the way they leaned in, the follow-up question they asked because they were actually curious, the laugh that was not polite but real. Those signs were there in the room, being broadcast at you the entire time. You were just too busy grading yourself to notice. And we know they were there because the researchers checked. They had neutral observers watch recordings of these conversations, and the observers spotted the liking immediately. It was obvious from the outside. The only person in the world who could not see that this conversation went well was the person who was in it. There is one more finding here, and it is the one I would want you to keep. The researchers noted a strange split between what people felt and what people did. Consciously, participants felt like their awkwardness was on full display, like everyone could see them fumbling. But unconsciously, their actual behavior was smooth. Their timing was fine. Their responses landed. They were doing well and feeling terrible at the same time. The awkwardness you were so certain everyone noticed was almost entirely an internal broadcast. It was playing at full volume in your head and nowhere else. So why would evolution build you like this? Why would a brain that flatters itself about everything else be so pessimistic here? Think about the two ways you can be wrong. Assume someone likes you when they do not, and you keep approaching, keep including yourself, and risk visible rejection in front of the group. In a small ancient community where your standing was survival, that is a costly mistake. Now assume they do not like you when they actually do, and you simply hold back. You lose a friendship you never knew you could have had. Painful, but invisible, and not fatal. Your brain, doing the survival maths, chose the safe error. It would rather you miss 100 friendships than risk one public rejection. And that setting is still running today in a world where the cost of rejection is a slightly awkward moment, and the cost of holding back is a life with fewer people in it. Because that is the real damage. The liking gap does not just make you feel bad after conversation. It changes what you do next. It is the reason you do not send the text saying it was good to meet you. The reason you assume the invitation was politeness rather than interest. The reason you wait for them to reach out first, while they sit somewhere else waiting for exactly the same signal from you. Both of you certain you are the one who cares more. So what do you do with this? Not affirmations. Something simpler and more concrete. First, when the post-conversation replay starts, name it. That is the liking gap, and it is measurably, reliably wrong in one direction. Not sometimes. Reliably. Second, treat your own uncertainty as evidence of nothing. You genuinely cannot see this from the inside. Neutral observers can. Your read on how much someone liked you is not data. It is a known illusion. And third, act on the outside view instead. Send the message. Suggest the next coffee. Assume, as your default, that it went better than you think, because the research says that assumption is correct far more often than yours is. So go back to that conversation you have been replaying, the one where you were sure you came across badly. There's a very good chance that the other person walked away from it doing the same thing you did, wincing at their own joke, replaying their own pause, and quietly concluding that you probably did not like them very much. Two people, walking in opposite directions, each one carrying the same false certainty. The only tragedy is that neither of you will ever say it out loud. Unless one of you does.